Mastering this one skill under brakes, when applied consistently, is crucial to gaining exit speed, lowering your lap times, moving up the podium, and going from being a good driver to becoming a great driver. Perhaps you have a few to several years of track experience. You've mastered apexes and are smooth and balanced with your throttle and brake input. Or you may run with an advanced run group or even have your competition license. The key to speed in the corner is being the first driver on the throttle. This means once past maintenance throttle and you begin to apply throttle, you don't come off the throttle. Years ago in the early 2000s, when Casey Stoner was running in MotoGP, some of the corner workers noted that the reason Casey was so fast was because he consistently was the first rider on the throttle in the corner. They could hear where Casey was applying throttle compared with the other riders, and was earlier in the corner. Consider a drag strip. Would you rather come up a second at the end of the track when both cars are moving, or at the start of the race when both cars are stopped and not moving? Of course, you would rather give up that second at the end of the track. Being early to throttle and not coming off the throttle once applied is crucial to high corner exit speed, low lap times, and beating your opponent. The skill taught here will help you facilitate that, minimizing your time under brakes and maximizing time on the throttle. And contrary to popular opinion, the king of the late breakers is not always the fastest. You may consider yourself a good driver and maybe even been told by others in the paddock that you're quick. The skill in this next bullet we're going to show you will require a subtle tweak in your mental approach to each corner. This is also a skill that once mastered separates the great drivers from the good drivers and is guaranteed to provide you higher exit RPMs and lower lap times. Gaining 2 to 3 tenths per corner using this skill is not unrealistic. So here it is. Focus on the end of the brake zone. I'll repeat that and let that sink in. Focus on the end of the brake zone. What we mean is a subtle shift in your mental focus away from the point at which you begin with the brake, and instead shift your mental focus to the end of the brake zone. That is, the point at which your right foot comes fully off the brake pedal and shifts to the throttle. And once you begin to add throttle, you don't need to come off the throttle. If you find yourself coming off the throttle past initial throttle application, this means you can probably be on the brakes later in the corner. This does not necessarily mean to brake later, but it does mean you can come off the brakes later. We'll talk about brake pressure coming up. By focusing on the end of the brake zone, the beginning of the brake zone will take care of itself. It may take you a few laps to sort this out for a given corner, but you'll know it's sorted once there's a seamless transition from brakes to throttle and you don't lift. What we're discussing here is simply a subtle mental tweak in your mental approach to each corner and your brake zone. This is a skill you can start practicing now at your next track event. On your next track event, pick 1 or 2 corners to be conscious of this new mental approach to braking. When first learning this skill, we recommend limiting it to 1 to 2 corners so your mind is not overwhelmed with having to learn it for the whole track. Once you start using this skill and you find success, your mind will naturally want to continue using it, and you'll find yourself adding it to your mental toolbox, helping you dissect each corner going forward. Make note of the engine RPMs at exit now. Are they higher? You'll be amazed how much time you'll pick up and how you'll be upshifting into 4th where previously you stayed in 3rd. Picture as a plot of brake pressure versus time. If you don't have a data system, you can still use this plot as a mental guide to aid your brake technique. The shape of this plot is what you'll see in the data traces from the best drivers in the world, and it's what you want to target. Note how initial brake application builds to maximum pressure instantaneously. This is crucial. You want to be hard on brakes initially, building to maximum pressure. Then this maximum brake pressure, or threshold braking, is held for a short period of time. Next, and the piece that separates the great drivers from the good, is the rate of release of the brake pedal. Release of the brakes needs to be smooth and at a constant rate. Pulling off the brakes too quickly will wash out or cause weight transfer too quickly off the front tires and cause understeer. A smooth release shifts the weight to the rear of the car smoothly, where you can then begin to apply throttle, transferring even more weight to the rear of the chassis, allowing for even more throttle application. As with all your driver inputs, think smooth and balanced. Make this a note on your steering wheel or in your field of vision in the car. Smooth and balanced. From your last track event on the longest straight, think about how long you're on the throttle from exit to brake zone, building up energy. Now consider how short a period of time you're on the brakes, releasing all that energy as heat through the pads, rotors, and unsprung weight, and it should become rather intuitive how developing a good brake technique is crucial to minimizing your time on the brakes and maximizing time on the throttle, and the benefits that come from that. More corner momentum, a flatter chassis mid-corner developing more grip, higher corner exit speed, and lower overall lap times. We'd love to hear from you. If you liked or got something from this video that you can use right now at the track, click subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment. CallTheGrid.com is about you. If there are any issues you have been struggling with regards to your car's performance, chassis setup, or performance driving, Post those in the comments as well, and we may address those in a future presentation. Like our Facebook page, which has content from across the world of road racing. We promise no politics or pictures of kids and graduations. Check out our Instagram feed where you can see what it's like to be called the grid. We're also on Twitter. To see more content like this, visit callthegrid.com. There you can get everything you need to be successful on the track. Helmets, racing suits, balaclavas, Nomex socks, chassis setup equipment, and what you need for the shop and paddock from Bell, Simpson, OMP, Alpine Stars, Longacre, and other leaders in the industry. We are an exclusive dealer for AST suspension. We have you covered with apparel for the driver's meeting, racing-inspired art for the home, and other gear and merch to show your love for road racing. As always, peace out, be safe, have fun, and go fast.